Canada's Prime Minister Mark Carney just got his revenge on Donald Trump. A tale of two countries, one in the United States run by the Trump regime with some of the worst job numbers imaginable. 23,000 jobs lost last month with the new jobs reports. Now, let's look at Canada under Prime Minister Carney. 75,000 jobs were created. Also, Prime Minister Carney creating an economy in Canada that's being viewed as the envy of the world, attracting investment from all over the world right now as the United States falls with its credibility being lost. Canada is rising. Let's take a look at what went down. I got to show you what Prime Minister Carney said. I've got some clips from the head of Bloomberg. I'll show you what he says about Canada leading the way. Let's just look at the data, folks. The jobs report that came out earlier on Friday, the U.S. lost 23,000 jobs, way below expectations, where 80,000 to 90,000 jobs were supposed to be created, even though unemployment ticked down to 4.1%. That ain't good, but it went down for the wrong reasons, as economist Heather Long says. Over 260,000 Americans left the labor force. They've given up on even seeking out jobs in this market altogether. Also, wage growth, 3.2%, whereas inflation year over year is 3.5%, but that's going to go back up to probably around 4% because it only went down to 3.5% with the memorandum of understanding with Iran, but now we know inflation's going back up. In other words, wage growth in the United States is getting swallowed whole by the rise in inflation. Now, compare that to Canada. What's going on in Canada? 75,000 jobs have been created there, and it's attracting investment from all over the world. As Justin Wolfers, MeidasTouch chief economist, explains, seems relevant. Canada is creating jobs at a rate that is roughly 4 times, maybe even closer to 5 times that in the United States. The pace of job growth in Canada has outpaced job growth in the United States. So Prime Minister Carney was asked, what do you make of Donald Trump the other day saying Canada is nasty? What do you make of that? Prime Minister Carney basically says, whatever adjective is used, let's be clear, we here are standing up for our people in Canada. We're focused. We've got a plan. We're doing this professionally. We're doing it competently. We're leading with values and principles. We are reaching out to allies across the world. We're forming new alliances across the world. We're doing what the United States once did, but we are doing it at a very fast pace while the United States loses its credibility. Watch this. Let's play it.
Whatever adjective is used, yes, we're standing up for Canadian workers, for Canadian businesses, as we always have from the start. And from the start, our focus has been on what we can control, and that's investing in protecting our jobs, investing in the future.
More from Prime Minister Carney right here. And he says, look, there are many things that Americans need and want from Canada. Trump can pretend that's not the case, but we know it's true. Here, play this clip.
There are many things that the Americans want from Canada. They say they don't want them, but they do want them. It's energy, it's potash, it's critical minerals, it's aluminum.
CTV News spoke with Canadians about the ongoing boycott of American alcohol. And here's what they said about the boycott. Let's play this clip.
On a sunny summer day outside this LCBO, most people tell us they aren't missing an American cold one.
Just avoid American, and I look for Canadian brands.
No, I think we've done a good job replacing it with Canadian alternatives.
It's hard to feel like spending the little extra money people have these days on, a country full of politicians, business folks that really don't seem to, A, treat us with respect, or B, have perhaps more nefarious plan.
Also, CTV News in the same segment said the following about what would happen if American alcohol even went back on the shelves of Canada to begin with. Let's play this clip.
If American alcohol went back on the shelf, according to new polling from Nanos done exclusively for CTV News, just under 3/4 of Canadians, 74%, are unlikely to buy it. And that's an increase from last year.
Yeah, folks, Canada has gone elbows up. Maple, Meidas, we hear you. We stand in solidarity with you. And shout out to Charlie Angus, by the way, over there at Meidas Canada. Everyone subscribed to Meidas Canada? Great. Prime Minister Carney says, look, we're not going to do a bad deal with the United States. Trump can try and threaten us and say, by August 19th, we're going to put those 50% tariffs on you. You better listen to us. Carney's like, we're going to negotiate the deal that we need for Canada. If we can't do it, we're not scared by Donald Trump's threats. We've got a plan that we're moving forward with. Here, play this clip.
With respect to a deal, we're interested in a more comprehensive deal, more global deal that addresses the strategic sectors. So as well as aluminum, where there's a win-win deal that should be there, steel, automobiles, forest products, and a series of what are called derivative products. So will we get all of that by the 19th of August? We'll see. But we want to have pathways in order to get that.
More from Prime Minister Carney here talking about those tariffs. Let's play it.
We're in a negotiation, so there are many options in terms of how a deal could be structured. But if I focus on the aluminum sector, the facts are that since the Americans put their tariffs in, their first tariffs on primary aluminum, the price of aluminum in the United States has gone up 58%. It's gone up by more of the tariff. Now, some of that's international prices, but most of that is passed through of the tariff. So that's not a good situation for American companies, and it creates challenges, obviously, for companies like Rio Tinto. How are we meeting those challenges? First and foremost, we're focused on the future, investing in partnership, in new technologies that are going to make this company competitive, not for next year, next week, but for decades to come. And we will continue to do that.
What about CTV's Eric Ham on Donald Trump calling Canada's leadership nasty? Here's what he's got to say.
Let's talk about Donald Trump's latest thoughts, I'll call them that, on Canada. He called our leadership, and I quote, nasty. What is your take on his rhetoric as trade meetings continue in Washington, Eric?
You know, I think listening to those comments yesterday by the president actually had to do a double take. I thought maybe he was talking about the Iranians or Russians and was very surprised that he was actually speaking about Canada. And I think it makes clear just what President Donald Trump thinks about Canadian leadership and about the ongoing back and forth between the two nations, which makes clear that if there's going to be an impasse, any breakthrough, it's certainly not going to happen anytime soon, given the vitriol that President Donald Trump continues to show towards our northern neighbor.
More from Prime Minister Carney right here. And yes, Carney switches from speaking in English and French here. That's why you'll hear a translator as he answers this question in French. Here, play this clip.
And at this stage in the negotiations, don't you think that you should go to the White House to meet with the president? Well, first of all, it's easy to talk to Mr. Trump or for me to talk to Mr. Trump if I feel it's necessary. We had a conversation last week, and there will be other conversations, but when they're necessary.
More from Prime Minister Carney here talking about the options available to them. Let's play it.
And we have a demonstration right here that there are options available to us. Quebecers and people in the Saguenay and Canadians are all looking at our options, and our options are to invest in the future, to invest in sustainability, and to create other opportunities for our Canadian exports. And my final point is we have just signed more than 20 economic and security agreements around the world. Everyone wants to do a lot of trade and commerce with Canada, and that is the context of these negotiations. Nasty, if you will.
And here he talks about the transformation that's beginning in Canada's economy. Listen to what he has to say. Let's play it.
You've seen now the start of the transformation in the economy just beginning to show up in the numbers. We're creating jobs at twice the rate of the United States. We have foreign direct investment twice the rate of our nearest G7 competitor, which is the United States. We are seeing growth pick up in this quarter. And most fundamentally, what we're seeing is business investment beginning to pick up. And that's because we've kept focused on what we can control. And we have what the world wants, which includes the greatest workers in the world.
Now I want to play for you Bloomberg editor-in-chief Matt Winkler. Here's what he's got to say about the rise of Canada's economy right now. Play this clip.
Canada, since Mark Carney became the prime minister in March of 2025, has outperformed everyone in America and also the Eurozone and anywhere in the world. The 10 largest stock markets in the world, Canada appreciated the most, more than 40%. Okay. And we know the past year has been pretty good for stocks.
Yeah.
Canada's done great. Its bond market is also doing great, partly because the inflation rate in Canada, unlike the Eurozone or America, is actually trending lower, okay, and is outperforming both the Eurozone and the U.S. Aside from the money coming in, Canada is beloved. When I say that, if you go to Atlas, World Atlas, Canada is right up there with Switzerland as the most loved country in the world. Mm-hmm. Okay. And guess why? Because of its policies being so reasonable to everybody else in the world. And where do you think that comes from? It comes from this guy, Mark Carney.
And more from Mr. Winkler right here about Canada's economy. Let's play it.
All of the money, and you found that it is actually going to Canada.
This is one of the greatest periods for overseas investment in Canada that we've seen in the century. And it may be unprecedented because we have to wait for the rest of the year. But the short answer to your question is that money is pouring into Canada like we have not seen from everywhere. Stocks and bonds are the obvious beneficiaries. One example is there's this company in a suburb of Toronto called IMAX. You may have
We've heard of it.
Seen the hit movie Odyssey this summer.
Now, folks, I don't want to paint a fully rosy picture like everything's great in Canada. I hear from Maple Meidas all the time. And, look, these tariffs are mutually assured destruction. It hurts Canada. It hurts the United States. But as Prime Minister Carney has explained, just hoping that Donald Trump will do the right thing or hoping that things will go back to the way they were is not a plan. So Prime Minister Carney said we could have acted like this is business as usual, or we could have aspired for something different, a new path, a path with Canada uniting the mid-powers across the world. And that's what Canada's done. Canada's been making actual trade deals, unlike Trump's fake deals, military deals, trade deals, big deals with Europe, UK, Asia, and Prime Minister Carney leading, really, the free world in Davos. It's an incredible thing to see. Predictability, certainty, leading with values. That's Carney's way. That's Canada's way. That's elbows up way. And you're seeing a lot of investment that otherwise may have gone to the United States pouring into Canada right there. Whether you're talking about jobs, whether you're talking about the stock market, whether you're talking about inflation, these metrics, you're seeing Carney and Canada doing significantly better than the United States. And as you heard there, Carney, Rhodes Scholar, former central banker, led the Bank of England through the Brexit crisis, led Canada through the Great Recession, Bank of Canada. And, the dynamic is so clear, right? You've got the central banker, brilliant, statistic, data focused, right? And empathetic versus Trump, the bankrupter, the central banker versus the bankrupter. We're seeing it play out in real time. Tell me what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 7 million subscribers. Maple Meidas, question for you. Have you picked up your copy yet of WTF America? I give so many Maple Meidas shout outs. There's like a whole chapter on Maple Meidas, by the way. Pre-order it right now. You can pre-order it in Canada as well. QR code, you can click it. Link in the description below as well. You can Google WTF America. Make sure it's the one by me and my brothers. I've noticed a lot of people do these AI scams now where they try to pretend that it's the book, but make sure it's, it's ours. WTF America. Anyway, thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Maple Meidas, we stand with you. Elbows up, everybody.
Breaking news right now. My brothers and I wrote a book. It's called WTF America. And well, doesn't that just say it all? It comes out officially this October, but you can pre-order your copy today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description below.